Hello guys, today we are starting our Android app development video tutorials. In this video tutorial you will learn about Toast, how you can display Toast within your application. So it's a lot of information on the internet about Toast. Let me give you some precise and simple definition about Toast, that what Toast is. Toast is basically a small feedback message which display within your Android application. Mostly users or developers called it pop-up notification. How we deal with it, with this kind of methodology, or how we will display Toast within our Android application, we will learn in the coming sessions of this video tutorial. As I told you in my previous video, that's how you can create an Android Studio project from the scratch. So by default it will open some kind of text dot activity, some kind of text no sorry some kind of layout, activity underscore main dot xml, and main activity, which we will call as activity class. So as I told you that our XML layout has two views. First one is the design view, which is the graphical user interface view, and the second is your XML, which is called as a text view. When we go through this XML code in my previous video, if you go through my previous video, you will learn about layouts. This relative layout is one of a kind from the previous video. As you can see, I have a definition of layout width and height. There are two types of width. First is match parent, and the second is wrap parent. If you press control space, and it will display you some kind of suggestions about the width. The second is Android layout height. It will also display two types of heights. Let me see. uh, Let me see. I just mentioned it, wrap content. As you can see, when I press control space, it will fill this gap with the wrap content, but I need here because I need to fill this up. The match parent width will touch your side screen, and from left to right, and the height with the match parent parameter will touch your upper and bottom side. Then as you can see, there are a lot of more parameters we will work on in the future video tutorial. So as you can see, it can it contains a text view, a UI component, but we will use a button to display our Toast, and we will I will tell you that how you can perform a click event on that button, and how you can display Toast within your Android application. So let's you have two options now. Let me tell you first, you have two options. I have removed that text view. You can drag and drop UI components. Let's suppose I'm just drag and drop my button here. As you can see, as I told you, that relative layout, wherever you drop your UI component, it will allocate or uses that space. So I'm just removing these things because we are not concerning with these things yet. So I just use the width to match parent and wrap content. As you can see, the wrap content is the default size of our button, and the match parent will touch the side screens. So this is the one way to you can add your UI components within your application. But more more users or more developers uses that XML code because they found convenient with this kind of code, this kind of view. So if you don't want to use that drag and drop functionality, you can manually you can use that button. First, there are two ways you can use that UI component using within the Android application. First is you will end this that forward slash and but button. As you can see, when I select the button, it will show me the width and height of the UI component, which is called button. So I just place the match parent with the height and width and the wrap content with the height. So I'm just using that text of the button. So I just name it don't touch me. So there is another one factor we need to use within your UI components or within your XML layout, that is ID, because that ID is used by your activity class to perform some actions on that UI component. So I'm just naming it click. So you will see that how we will use that ID within our main activity.java class. So let's go with our main activity. First, what you need to do is declare a variable of button class. Let's suppose I'm naming it click btn. So as you can see, it's showing a red button. We have to import that library or package for that UI component. So I have to press alt enter, and as you can see, it's been added in our main activity.java class. So we will deal with our modular programming strategy. So I will just make a public method called initialize. So don't forget to declare that method within your set content view. As you can see, this first set content view will execute. It will set your this a layout file or XML file on your within your application. Then it will initialize the components which we will use within our application. Right now we are just using button, so let's first use that button ID within our application. So this is the some kind of syntax within Android app development. So so find view by ID. So we have to find the UI component ID, which is a button. So as I told you, we are using now the button ID because it's more important. R.id dot what was that click. So now we have referred or we have linked our UI component within UI component within our activity class. So the next thing is we will apply event or click action on that button within our application to display toast. So to to apply action on or a click event on that button, there are two methods. First, let me tell you first one, that how you can apply. So click btn, you can apply just button click listener or set on click listener. Let's suppose click btn dot set on click listener. So we are using that interface, set on we are using that click method. So it needs something on click. So we have to pass that view on click listener, and as you can see, it has we have using a view dot on click listener method within the class within the set on click listener method. Yeah, so as you can see, it has sub method on click. Whenever you perform a click action on that button, it will display that functionality which is inside that on click method. So we are placing that toast functionality within on click method. So let me tell you, as I told you, that toast is a small pop-up feedback message. So this toast class has multiple methods to display some kind of information within your application. So we are concerning with our make text method. So this method accept some kind of parameters like your pointer to your active to pointer to your activity. So this can be used by get application context, not application. As you can see, first one, so we are passing the context, means we are passing the pointer to the current app activity. So the second parameter is your text which you want to display within your application. So I'm just placing some kind of text, search me. And the last parameter is you have to mention that the time duration of the toast, that how much time or for how many time, how much time does it display on within your application. So I just use that short length short. And last is outside that curly braces, you have to put dot and call that show method. So whenever you click that button within your application, will it display you a text or a pop-up feedback, you test me. Though this is one kind of usage of the click event. So we just commanded, and we will use the second one. The second one is click btn dot set on click listener, and you have to pass that this pointer. You might have learned about this pointer, so you might be familiar with these things, and then now I will apply for that. So the next thing is you have to implement view dot on click listener. As you can see, whenever use that interface, view dot on click listener method, it will underline the whole main activity, which is extend from another class app compat activity. So what you have to do is you have to place this cursor on the line and press alt enter. So it will display some kind of pop-up a little window, or even might be a suggestions window. So you have to implement methods of that interface. So whenever we click on that implement method, it will show me that on click method, which is concerning with that on click listener interface. Whenever I click on that OK button, as you can see, it is displaying, or it has added or on click method. This is the same, just like above we have used few minutes back. So what you have to do, you can also use a switch statement inside this method, just like that. Switch to view dot get id, will get the id, and switch to in a particular case r dot id dot so what's our id, click. So whenever you will click on that UI button, it will pass the pointer to the on click method, and when it will get the UI ID or the button ID using this method, view dot get ID, it will found this r dot id dot click. They will match with this case, so it will display this toast as I already mentioned. So I'll just copy it and place it here. So this is the another way to use click event on your UI button. So whatever you want to choose, that's up to you. So now we will compile and run our application. within our real time Android device. I will also share my screen that how it looks like. All right. Now we will compile and run our application by hitting that green button. So I have just connected my my Samsung Android device. So it will build some Gradle files. Now I will share my Android device with you. It will some when it will install Android Studio will install that application within my Android device. It will display to you. So as you can see, it's installing the APK. Now it's displaying on our Toast application. So whenever you touch that Toast or whenever you touch that button UA button, so it will display us some kind of push note no sorry pop-up notification. So as you can see, it's basically displaying you touched me. So this is our click event. We have applied click event on that UI. So how that toast works, how that toast displayed, how you can put some information within the toast, how you can apply how you can display that kind of toast. There are a lot more purposes for of that toast. You might display information about your Wi-Fi, about the GPS, about any kind of error. So I hope you get the complete idea of how you can use Toast, how you can use button, how you can perform click event on any UI component within your Android application. So good luck and thanks for watching this video.